Hey, how's it going, everybody? So this week, just want to talk a little bit. We got Marge coming up this week. Gonna be finishing up a piece that I started for her it was maybe a month ago or so, but one that really is special to me, being that a veteran and something that I used to do as one of my duties, was delivering a flag to next of kin when we had fallen Marines, whether it was died in combat, suicide, during training, whatever the case was. So unfortunately, this is one of those situations where it happened to Marge, and so this is it hits home for me, this piece that I've been working on. So one of the things that I really want to do with stuff like this is help raise awareness. There's 22 veterans that commit suicide on average a day, every single day. So when I do these pieces, I try to accentuate that a little bit and bring awareness, any way that I can. If it helps, it helps. I'm really, if I can make even a small impact, I'm going to try. This is one of those situations. I met Marge, it's been a couple of years now. I met her at a convention. She came up to me. I was still in the Marine Corps at the time. She told me about how her son is in the Marine Corps and she wanted to do a tattoo to honor her son. So we did a tattoo to honor her son, and a couple of years later, her son passed, and then she came to me with this idea to help raise awareness for veteran suicide, and that's when we came up with this really cool design to put it out there and try to inspire some change, maybe, hopefully. Marge is just a sweet lady, and I always enjoy every time I'm around her, every time I'm tattooing her. Her and her friend Julie, they're just sweet ladies. I have more fun tattooing them than they're tattooing and hanging out with them than actual just tattooing. So looking forward to it, and I'm excited to do this piece for her, and it means a lot to me, and it's fun because it's the people that they are. She's so optimistic. She's she wants to inflict change as well, and she wants to raise awareness as well. So this is it's very meaningful for both of us. I wanted to have Marge share her story with the design and what went on behind that. So Marge, if you would just kind of what brought you to me to do this tattoo, and what came about for this for the design, and what's the message that we're trying to send everybody here?
Okay. Well, I've had Sean do tattoos for me before. He's awesome, and I knew I couldn't go to anybody else but him to do this. We lost our oldest son to suicide in January of this year, and he was a Marine. And I knew at that point that I had to do something to bring awareness to military veteran suicide. And so I called Sean and I said, please help me design something that will be meaningful for veterans suicide awareness. And he came up with this tattoo, which is an absolutely stellar tattoo that he's designed for me. And hopefully it brings the message out. The tattoo is basically 22 every day is on top, and it tells the story. We need to do more for our veterans. We need to be aware that these guys and gals have a lot going on in their lives when they are in the military, and they need to be able to have someone that they can talk to and kind of get some of this stuff out if they need to.
I'm gonna cry. You're making me cry. You're doing better than I am. When we went into this design, we wanted it to be something that would accurately send the message and be powerful. And so what we have going on is a veteran looking in the mirror. He sees his reflection as what's going on internally. A lot of times with suicide in general, but veteran suicide especially, is we're very proud. We're very we internalize our emotions a lot, so we don't display that. So on the outside, we look fine, and we might still be joking around, smiling, and internally we're struggling with a lot, whether it's transitioning out of the military, or it's PTSD, or whatever the case is. We struggle to find that purpose outside of the military. So yeah, we have that anger, and depression is inside. And so the tattoo, what I wanted to somehow display that message. And so I got a Marine looking into a mirror, and he's calm on the outside, but on the inside he's screaming, and he's holding the gun to his chin, just saying, hey, this is what I have going on internally, but externally, calm on the surface, so to speak. So it's very very powerful, very graphic, but it sends the message that we want. And then beneath all that, we have a Marine in uniform saluting. This is a tribute to all those who are struggling with that stuff. Our heart goes out to you guys, and we'll hope that you seek help, and we're gonna do whatever we can to get that message out there. All right, man. Well, we are about 5 hours in. Probably got a good 5 hours or so left. So far, looking amazing, and Marge has been sitting awesome. So I'm excited to finish this baby up. It's gonna be quite the piece.
Before you go, just give one clap there, Sean.
Yep.
That would be helpful.
Yeah. Well, it's like I've kind of mentioned, with my son, as a family, we knew that he was struggling with some things. We didn't know exactly what all. We did know that there was some issues like with alcohol and things like that. But when he comes home, and some of the family things that he always was a part of and wanted to be a part of, we had to ask him to be a part of, which was totally not him. So realizing that there's something going on, but we don't know what, and we would reach out to him, myself, my daughters, my son, we would all reach out to him, and he basically just wouldn't respond. So we knew something was going on, but we just didn't know what.
And I think that's what I really hope we can drive home, is that you don't know the severity of it, you just know something's off.
Exactly.
And the only thing we can do in those situations is just ask.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's one area that I think everybody, if we were able to kind of see, because I know like friends, leaders, really, I was telling somebody yesterday that one of the best leaders I ever had in the Marine Corps, he committed suicide, and nicest guy in the world. He was the lead from the front kind of guy, always laughing, always cracking jokes. He was just happy to be around Marines all the time. We loved him. And to see that guy, or to find out that he committed suicide, was a shock to everybody. But then I look back and I'm like, I remember sitting down and talking to him about the pain that he was in, and how it was just getting frustrating because he wasn't getting any help. There was nothing anybody could do, and he was frustrated with that. And I never thought it was a cry for help or anything like that. It was more, he was just frustrated with it, and he wasn't getting anywhere, and it wasn't progress being made. And those things, like just those little subtle conversations that you have, is
Exactly.
where you need to pick up and be aware, because that's their cry for help. It's
Exactly.
very subtle,
Yep. Very, very subtle.
And I think that's if that's what we can bring awareness to, that would be amazing, and hopefully save some lives.
And yes, absolutely. And it's hard when you've got someone that is usually really upbeat, and like you were just talking about, with my son, he was the kind of Marine that the Corps depended on. If there was a new Marine coming in and this Marine was nervous about things, they'd call Chris and he would go and, kind of take him under his wing and show him the ropes and so everybody just thought the world of him. And he thrived in that. But then when things started going south for him and, he kept it hidden well enough that the people in the Corps that he worked with every single day did not realize what was actually happening. And it is hard. It is hard to pick up on those cues. You'd think it would be easier to pick up on those, but it isn't.
And it's so easy to figure it out afterwards.
Exactly.
That's what sucks. It's like, oh, he was acting weird.
Yes.
He was doing this.
He was doing this, or he was doing this and not responding, or whatever. And why didn't I pick up on that fact that,
And you can't beat yourself up. There's nothing,
right. But you always wonder, what did I miss?
Yeah.
How could I have prevented, him from making this choice that he did?
Yep.
And it is hard when they don't show signs or when they don't just flat out ask for help.
Yep.
And so many times from what I've heard, and myself not being a military person, they're trained, you've got to be strong, you can't show weakness, and I understand that in a wartime situation and you've got to be strong and everything else, but sometimes I feel like it almost causes them to feel like they cannot reach out for help. Because if they do, it says that they're weak.
And I hope and I think that, especially like specifically the Marine Corps, because I know I was in the Marine Corps, but I think the military has made a much better effort in making it comfortable, making Marines comfortable going forward when they're struggling with things like that. But yeah, that stigma, or that it's almost like a negative stigma because you're proud, you're fighting machines, and then
don't want to show weakness.
You don't want to show weakness, and then if let's say you do, and you go get help, well then somebody else has to pick up your slack.
Yep.
And it's like, well then I'm letting down my Marines.
Exactly.
And that's where we internalize things,
yep.
Because we don't want to be the guy that's letting everybody down.
Right.
And it's so hard. It's a vicious cycle. But
that I think is where Chris was at. Because
Yep.
he didn't want to let people down, and he knew he had to keep going and keep being strong for his men. But how do you get to the point where you can see what is happening and be able to intervene, if you will, before the bad choices are made?
I think that, and this is easier said than done, but I think we really got leaders for active duty and for people who aren't active duty. You need to have that support system of people who when you see things like we talked about,
Yes.
like, hey, they're not answering their phones. They
Right.
don't seem to want to come to the family get-togethers as much as they used to.
Right,
We got to start asking those questions like, hey, are you okay?
right.
Or what's going on?
Mhm.
And talk to me. And we have to make a better effort in that area, I think. It's just so hard.
It is.
But if we can raise awareness and say, hey, pick up on these subtle cues,
Right.
maybe we can,
Keep this from continuing to happen.
yeah,
At least-
absolutely.
Or at least lessen the likelihood of it happening.
Yep. So I think that's where we really got to drive that home, that message home is we just try to see those subtle things and just ask them about it.
Yeah. Well, and that's kind of with this tattoo that we're doing, when this whole thing came down, it was like, I've got to do something to try and help raise awareness to this problem.
Yep.
And, even the first half of the tattoo, I had people asking me questions in regards to it, and I was able to,
Yep.
to tell them, what's going on. And I firmly believe that once this thing is completely finished, it's going to make more of a statement.
Yeah, and that's been the goal since day one is
Yep. Exactly.
Let's get the conversations started.
Yep, and that's where it's gotta start,
Yep, absolutely.
you know?
And I know there's a lot of good people out there already, you know, making a big effort to help and make an impact in this area, and
Right,
that's what it takes.
sure does.
All right, we are done.
Awesome.
Probably got about, what do you think, 10 hours, maybe 8 hours-ish?
Probably.
8 hours or so into this thing, 8 to 10 somewhere. Just finished it up. She hasn't seen it yet. She's gonna take a look. Well, she's seen some of it, but not all of it together anyway.
Right.
So she's gonna take a look at it and let me know what she thinks. All right, you go ahead and check it out, March.
You want me in front of the mirror?
Yep.
Okay.
Then I'll finish cleaning up your arm and stuff too.
Oh my God.
Did we nail it?
Oh, Sean, that's amazing. That's exactly what I wanted.
Good. Give me a hug. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, of course. It was my honor. Absolute honor.
Oh,
And yeah, that is a very powerful message, and that was our goal from day one. So
yep. Exactly.
you stop crying because you're gonna make me cry again.
It's been back and forth today.
Today,
Dang it.
I haven't cried this much since I was a little
Oh,
kid.
man.